Okay, so we're on our first expedition of sorts. At least I believe this is technically the first one I had a choice in doing. So I'm gonna call it the first expedition because that's basically what it is. So I basically paused this long enough for everybody to read it because I didn't want to just speed through the stuff in case people did want to read. I'm usually not the kind to pay attention to tutorials if I already know the mechanics, but for your benefit, I'll do it. So don't just return from the expedition. Pro tip for you, you really want to look in the supply box. I've noticed some folks out there don't do that. I assume it's because they have a bunch of consumables already. But hey, free food, man. Free rations are never a bad thing. The only bad thing about rations, again, we're just going from topic to topic in one long, uninterrupted sentence. Did you just try and impersonate Picard? I tried. I failed, but anyway. The only bad thing about rations is they don't last near so long as, say, a well-done steak. At least I think that's the way it works, or at least I think it used to. It used to work where you would, by the way, there's no need to charge the tackles. I think I missed, but it gave me credit anyway. I think the well-done steak usually lasts longer, so, you know, that's usually what you want to do, but there's no harm in using a ration, which, by the way, you want to eat something before you do something like this if you're in a high rank hunt, or even low rank. That doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean, like rank 5 or whatever. But you want to eat something to upgrade your maximum stamina, unless you took the chef's choice food thing, and then I think it gives you 50 stamina. But even then, I usually eat something, I think it gives you an extra 20 stamina. Don't neglect that extra stamina. That's your life bar if you know how to Superman dive, yo. Also, great you should probably get used to grinding the same monsters. Monster Hunters always have been about the grind. I was like, oh, sweet, true charge time, and he charged. Yep, get used to it. It's going to happen a lot. You're gonna look like a jackass, or at least I do. Maybe it's only me. Maybe only I look like a jackass using the great sword times. I would not put it past me. See right there, I thought I missed again. Also, this is a great time, well, not this, but if he was still up, it would have been a great time to try and just make a wide sweeping arcs. Those small animals can and will interrupt you. So, it's debatable on whether you want to, like, you know, take care of them first. You might have also noticed I just kind of like tackled my way through that. That has hyper armor and some damage reduction. It's not a lot of damage reduction, but it is some. I have tanked a few high rank charges and been only a little bit worse for wear. Now, if you use a vitality thing, which I guess we don't have by this point, it's a tool of sorts, a vitality mantle, you can basically just tank shit like that. You won't lose health that way until a certain amount of damage has been, you know, taken, but that's a long time in the future. You don't get a vitality mantle for a long time. I mistimed it, but I was trying it. I was trying to. And when you're trying to learn the timings of monsters, you're gonna fail a lot. There's an old saying, the first step to being good at something is to suck at it. And suck you will. That really sounds bad out of context, doesn't it? Well, it doesn't really matter. You will not, at least I wasn't a master when I first started. Granted, I only played the Great Sword in the one previous game that I always talk about, 3U. Some people played Generation, some people played, I don't know what the hell all the other games are, because I'm not a big fan of mobile games, like with the PSP or what have you. So I was really... This is not exactly the right way to do this either. I should not be hitting the tail. The tail is not something you want to... I guess it is. You have to hit the right part of it. Like, if you see white numbers a lot, you're really hitting the wrong part. Great Sword's really gimped if you hit the wrong places, because you do jack all for damage then. Now, generally speaking, if you kill their mother in front of it, the small Jagras, they don't really care. They'll care, but they won't actually hit you. Sometimes, though, they will. It's rare, but they'll sometimes be brave. Most of the time, they kind of nailed it on that. Like, if the small animals see you kill their mother, normally they're not going to screw with you. In the old games, they always did. Like, if you killed, say, a great Jaggy, and there were a bunch of small jaggies, and you killed the great jaggy, and you tried to carve, they would all hit you. They didn't give a crap that you killed their mother. That's another big improvement I like. I guess some people say, that's small. No, it's a pretty big improvement for I'm standing. It's a lot more viable, and don't have to suspend the disbelief so much. At least I would think the animals would do that. They go, oh my god, my mom is dead. I should probably not screw with the killer of her. But maybe animals aren't as smart as I give them credit for. Which is funny, because I don't give them much credit at all, most animals. Except dolphins. Dolphins are cool. Dolphins are intelligent. Mind you, I've never even seen... Well, I guess I have seen a dolphin in real life. But we're getting way off topic. That was at the MGM Grand. No, that was a whale that had MGM Grand. Doesn't really matter, but... yeah, you can fish in this. I've never done it yet, because normally when I'm online, I always... Well, if I'm not doing single player, I'm almost always inviting people to co-op, so I don't really do fishing all that much. There is a notable exception. I'm going to imagine that at certain parts of the game, something's underwater. I guess that's just spoiled. There's no underwater bosses as far as I've got so far, but at least in, again, 3U, I remember at least one boss in that forest area, swamp or whatever it was, I don't remember exactly, where, I'll still try, anyway, I'll stick to this, where you could use a fishing rod and fish him up. Now, you didn't have to do this. You only did this if you wanted to fight him on land, which was debatable whether you wanted to fight him on land or not. The other option was just kind of go into his domain and fight while swimming. Let me tell you, I'm glad there's been no swimming fights to this point, because those were absolutely awful as a greatsword user. They were awful. They were terrible. They were really nice for, like, heavy bowgun users, but not as a greatsword user, because your depth perception's all kinds of off. At least mine always is. It happened in Vash J, or that one area in World of Warcraft 2. It's not fun. I don't like fighting underwater. Hopefully they don't have some big boss fight underwater like the 3U did. Good god, that fight was annoying. It wasn't really dangerous in lower rank, but ugh. It's kind of, well, I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not going to say anything further on this game. But yeah, I've not seen any underwater fights, but generally fishing did have a use besides, well, catching fish. You could fish up bosses that were underwater and fight them on land, where you have a little bit more of an advantage, or at least less of a disadvantage. I'm not sure if that's the same thing, but it kind of equates to the same thing. Kind of, maybe. I don't know. Oh, sorry, hit the table there. My bad. Didn't mean to do that. Also, yes, from time to time, you'll run across, some researchers, some very brave ones. You might notice she has, I think that's a... Is that a ghillie suit? I can't tell if that's a ghillie suit or not. She should have a ghillie suit on. I don't think she has any weapons, so... Yeah, they're there basically to tell you, you can use your net, your capture net, to, like, capture bugs. You can capture owls. I know Glasgow captured a legendary, like, owl. Like, the rarest I got was, like, some toucan-looking thing. Like, bird. I think it was, like, rank 2 or 3 rarity. But, yeah. That has more than just, like, you get research points that you can once you... Actually, I think from the get-go, I think you can release your pets in your room. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Your first house, you can put, I think, 1 pet down. Your second house, I think you can put 2 or 3. And then your last, or at least the last house I've gotten to, I think I can put down, like, 6 pets. So if you're just feeling like kicking back and relaxing, you can do that. And you can, I think if you rest, you can feed your pets as well. Doesn't actually do anything, but I'm just rambling now. So yeah, this is the next little boss. It's a Kalukuyen, or... I never remember this thing's name, it's so asinine. It's a fun fight, once you know what you're doing. When you don't know what you're doing, this fight can be hair-pullingly. Anyway, you're going to want to pull your hair out if you don't know what you're doing. The reason? If you noticed that he was carrying a pot. Normally, he does not carry a pot. Normally, he carries a rock. And that rock is the hardest material known to mankind. That thing will find it. Now, what does that mean, Barok? It means I've hit that thing with a true charge, and most of the time it drops it, to be fair. It's like, oh my god, that thing was too hard, I can't even hold on to this. There's a lot easier way of doing it than getting rid of that thing, by the way. You don't have to hit him with, like, the heaviest attack in the game to make him drop it. It's, I guess, a little bit of a spoiler, but since this is for newer players, I'm going to tell you, make damn sure, if you're hunting a, whatever the hell that was, I forget the name of it. If you're hunting that thing, make sure you bring a rock or some kind of slinger ammo, and when he picks up that rock, try and aim at him and hit him with the slinger. A lot of times he'll drop that thing and be stuck in an animation like, oh crap, I gotta try and pick this back up, leaving you ample opportunity to beat the ever-loving crap out of him. And this is one of those fights where if you do really well with the greatsword, it just kind of snowballs because he just gets stunned, and he can't do much. And he can't roar you to stop, so you can really just, like, beat the ever-loving god out of him if you get into the, as I say, you get into the rhythm of the fight. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I'll be doing absolutely horrible, and then something clicks, and everything just goes right, and all of a sudden I'm hitting true charge after true charge. That was not a good way to start the fight, but I was really just trying to make sure he didn't miss again. That was... See, he can't stun you. He can't do that. So, well, you can do that. That's just as annoying. It's a very fast wind-up. As a greatsword user, you don't usually want to stand in front of him. You want to try and stand to the side of him so he doesn't do that little pecking thing. He can still turn and do it. I guess there is a little bit of a head... He raises his head a little bit. That's probably the time to charge. Though, to be fair... that's not what I was attempting. In case you were wondering, did you mean to do that? No, I didn't mean to do that. I thought that was like an herb or something I could quickly pick up, you know. And this is where things, I think, go south. Because I had not fought this thing in a very long time, and it's not like we really fought it many times in the beta anyway. So this is pretty much kind of like a first fight, really. And it's every bit as annoying. You have to hit him either from the side, if you can't get him to drop the thing, or from behind. And the problem with it is, sometimes even if you hit him from the side, he will still block it. So, that's it's kind of annoying. But, hey, once you get used to it, it's really not a bad fight. The worst part of this fight is, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. There's Anjanath. Anjanath is very belligerent. I'm surprised he didn't go right after me, to be honest. Normally he goes right after the first person he sees or the closest, which was me there, but for some reason he really wanted... I guess the other as a bigger meal he was chasing. He didn't want my puny butt. He wanted that... Yeah, him. Kuluyaku, I think his name is. He wanted that thing. That, happy accident, I guess. That wasn't what I was aiming at. Oh, excuse me. And he's enraged. Is he? I couldn't tell. Nope, he's not enraged. I thought I saw his wings flap up. Now, if you're ballsy enough, you can really do a lot of damage when they're fighting. The problem is if you're, well, in the wrong place at all, you saw what happened, you kind of eat some shit. A lot of times when this happens in co-op, I'll notice, guys, where are you? I'm like over there by myself taking a swing at the tail, and they're like, I'm not getting near that fight. I'm like, I'm in, man. To be fair, sometimes I get hit. To also be fair, a lot of times I end up cutting the tail off, and they're like, holy shit, he managed to do it. So, again, it's a risky playstyle. That's why I love the greatsword. That and the fact I'm just spoiled. I mean, once you go from being able to just make any monster go, oh, that hurt, to, I kind of feel a light breeze hitting my foot, you can't really go back, in my opinion. Also, I was testing to see if I tackled it, would it make him drop it? Well, you can see how that ended up. It didn't really drop it. Also, I was getting frustrated. When I get frustrated, you know, because you'll notice I just take reckless swings. And it's not... Yeah, it's, oh, this fight, man. I love fighting I always forget his name. Kuluyaku, I love fighting him now. But this is painful on so many levels to watch and commentate over. Thank goodness he's not too bright, otherwise I might have actually died there. Which is funny, considering I think birds usually have one of the brighter species in the world, but... I mean, he's using a tool, for goodness sake. So you'd think he's very intelligent. I thought I might be able to get a true charge here. Oh, that was so close. If I'd waited an extra half second, I guess it wouldn't have been a true charge, but I would have at least hit him. Maybe stunned him. Don't even ask me what in the hell that was about, but I'm just going to tell you that one was kind of intentional, but not really. And I screwed up the true charge. Doesn't matter because I missed anyway like an idiot, but... yeah, it's feast or famine. That's the phrase I like with the greatsword. You're either feasting or you're just kind of running around going, "Stop moving, damn it! Stop moving! Would you stop moving?" Because some things do not ever stop moving, it seems like. Like, they'll never stop moving. And your only option then is to try and predict where they're going to go. A good thing is this, I guess this is technically a spoiler, but if you don't know it, you're not going to know who the hell it is anyway, is Odegaron. If you ever fought Odegaron, you're going, how in the hell do you use a greatsword against Odegaron? It's actually a really, really, really fun fight as a greatsword user for me, because I know exactly how he moves now. So I go, okay, he's going to go veer right, and he's veering left, and he's going to go here, so I'll just line this up, and he gets knocked to the floor. But the first time I fought him, oh god. I guess that's kind of the same for every greatsword, Barok. You're just spouting the same. Yeah, well... that's why this is kind of significant, because most people don't go through greatsword the first time through the game. Most people do it like a second weapon they want to try and master, or something else. They don't usually learn the game with it. To be fair, I should have dodged backwards. I didn't realize that there was climbable... I thought that was just a wall. But man, I'm going all over the place. At this rate, I'm not going to have anything to talk about for the next 14 sessions. Hopefully I don't repeat myself too much, but it's bound to occur. Oh man, I don't know how I ever got by with 60 damage a hit. Like, some people are going, holy shit, 60 damage a hit. I'm like, this is like peanuts compared to what I do now. It's like, I mean, it is starter gear. So, you know what? That, I get tunnel visioned. That's the only excuse I can offer. I get tunnel visioned. It's not a very good one, but I do. Also, well, yeah, like I said, if you can take advantage of it, it's really a good opportunity. But they don't usually take too kindly to getting hit in the buttocks while they're fighting something else. And at times, they will just go, truce, truce, and then they all go after you. But the good thing about animals like this, a lot of times they break their own truces. Of course, you never know when they're going to do it, so it's kind of a crapshoot, but yeah, you know what? Beggars can't be choosers, right? That's why it's a somewhat viable method just to try and bring animal or monsters to other monsters' hideouts. It can be really bad if it's like I guess I can't even say the name now. I guess I'll just call him Beetlejuice, because if you have the game, you know who I'm talking about. Beetlejuice don't give a shit where you are. Beetlejuice will crash your party anytime, anywhere, baby. You could be in a tiny little cave. That big boy's coming in there with you. I am very surprised I did not bounce watching it again. I think I should have. I think he jumped, and I don't know if you can... I don't know what happened there, to be honest. He should have bounced. Is that an egg or a rock? That's a rock. Okay, sometimes he has eggs. Normally he's eating when he does that, so I don't know why I was even thinking that might be an egg. I guess I'm just stupid. Yeah, like I said, feast or famine, baby. You either hit everything or you just whiff. But when you hit that true charge in the head from behind, oh, son, there's no feeling like it. Yeah, but you're not doing very consistent damage. Big numbers, man. That's all that matters in Monster Hunter life. Big numbers. Why do you think I have over 900 attack power now? And I'm just getting started, man. This is very optimistic, but it might actually work. You know, if I could aim worth a damn. It would have worked, too. It can be, like I said, it can be a little tricky to figure out where you're going to swing. Over time, you get a feel for it, though. I don't miss near so often unless something just veers wildly to a direction I didn't anticipate. And, basically, Monster Hunter was the first game I ever played in Ultra Greatsword in. You might go, I thought you played it in Demon Souls and all that. Yeah, I did. You know why I started liking Ultra Greatswords? Monster Hunter. That's the first game I played Ultra Greatsword. It was the first weapon I ever used in any Monster Hunter game ever. And let me tell you, it was rocky. It was very, very bad. At first, I was horrible. By the way, that's not how you want to use flash bugs at all. As you might imagine, you kind of want to, you know, do that when they're actually facing it. It's a wild idea, I know, but it usually works better that way. Also, I'm guilty of this. Another little tip for you is try and always have dung pods or flash pods, mostly dung pods once you reach high rank, because everything and anything loves crashing your party. And if you don't know what dung pods do, you hit them with it, and not to be too lowbrow here, they go ew and just kind of leave. Most of the time. Not always. Not always. I think it's a % chance they'll leave. I don't know that, but I always, if I'm going to do that, I try and fire 2 off. Just to try and make sure. If you're wondering what those doodles are for, hell if I know. I've yet to find anything with doodles. I think that's supposed to be like an Easter egg. I don't know. That's just a theory I have right now. But I honestly don't really know what the hell those are. You know, like you don't track anything with the doodles. At least that I've found so far. Maybe in G rank that monster that draws those comes out. I don't know, but the reason I doubt that theory is because normally if you see something you can like track or pick up like that, it seems like almost always they're always on the map. So that's why I'm leaning toward Easter egg or some kind of reference or nod to the players, or I don't know. It's just a fan theory. Probably not a very good theory, but that is my theory. At this point, I have no idea what I was doing. I think I'm about to go back here, considering there's like 4 minutes left in this recording. I can't imagine I stuck around here too much longer. I think I was trying to figure out what that X was, and I don't know if I ever found out. Also, a little tip for you, if you have friends who are, say, a little more open to exploring the levels in Expedition. Oh, excuse me. Is if you don't have all the camps like I never did. Like, by myself, I might have found one camp in the Ancient Forest and, like, the center camp in the other. Also, I know I never found that 15 camp in Wildspire Waste. I never found that camp up in the trees. But if you go into someone else's game, or they post a quest and they choose to start there, at least that's how it worked with me. As soon as you start there, and it says, a new camp has been located. You need to do so-and-so to, you know, build it. I forget what they call it, the resource management place or whatever. So if you have friends who do that, maybe on the down low, you don't tell them you're going to do it, because I didn't, but you reap the rewards. Sorry, conceived sorrow. You gave me the Wildspire campsite because I couldn't find the way. And I searched that place for like hours one day just to try and find it. I never found it. I don't know. God knows how he found it. I don't know how he did. I think Glasgow gave me a few in a later area in a camp. So basically, you're admitting you're a moocher. I cut tails off. I break horns. I do the work. I just don't do the whole exploring thing very much. So, in a manner of speaking, I kind of pull my weight. In another manner, not so much. So, yeah. The other big thing is that I underestimated a lot, is you want to visit this guy pretty much every time you go out for an expedition or a mission, because, well, that upgrades the thing. It does not do it automatically. Like I said in the tutorial, you have to go back there. And I can't tell you how much of a blessing it is to just, you know, I need to find whatever it is. And you look on the map, oh, there it is. After finding like one clue I think you have to find. But after that, you know exactly where it is and what it's doing. Whether it's fighting or sleeping or whatever. Also, if you want to know what things drop, you have to raise the level. Once you get to a certain rank in their investigation thing, you can see what they drop in low rank, high rank, what parts are breakable, what parts are resistant to damage, what parts are weak to damage, where to swing, etc. You want to pay attention to that. It might also tell you what they're weak to. I never really looked because I use an elemental-less weapon or non-elemental weapon, so I never really paid attention, but I think if you use one, I think that's where they tell you what they're weak to. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. So, yeah. At the end of almost every Monster Hunter session, I'm going to be going back to the workshop, man. You gotta go back to the blacksmith every so often. You don't want to be caught slipping and using really, really low rank gear. Also, I do recommend doing some investigations. You don't have to, like, grind them to, until you go crazy. But they do give a lot of armor spheres. And let me tell you, I thought, oh, upgrading armor doesn't really do much. It's probably like, Dark Souls, where you don't really... Or upgrading your armor didn't really do much. Because I remember in previous hunting games, upgrading armor really didn't ever do much. I gotta tell you, at least in the early high rank, it helps. I don't know about low rank, but in early high rank, it helps. Probably not so much later on, but because you'll probably just get two-shot right out the gate, but... Yeah, I'd say rank 12, like 11 through 13, it helps. Probably earlier, too. It's just probably the later you go, the less it helps. I'm trying to figure out what I even wanted, like gear-wise, because I hadn't found anything I really like. I don't like the chainmail look too much. The bone, yeah, it's kind of okay. Oh, Slugger, that's the other skill I forgot. I love Slugger. Right now I have 3 levels in it. I haven't used it. Normally I only had the 1 from the bone van braces. Oh, now I got 3 levels in it. I want to try it out. But I can't yet. I have to wait another couple hours before I can do that. Because I got to render this, upload it, and then hope people are online or just go solo. But anyway, yay! I think I just got an upgrade, even though I wasn't really paying attention to the screen whatsoever. But yeah, generally speaking, you don't want to pay attention to defense. Defense is not usually the be-all, end-all. In my opinion, you want to focus on the skills you get from it. So, at least I would. Maybe you're different, but that's my suggestion. Like, maybe you want to attack up, or critical eye, if you're like a dual sword user, or maybe you want, I don't know. I only know greatsword stuff. I have no idea what other classes want. But yeah, that's going to be about it for today, everybody. Thank you for listening to me yammer on. My throat's getting a little sore here, so we're going to have to cut it off here, and hopefully I'll see you later. Farewell until then.